Hello, David here. When we last talked, we left off in the book of Zephaniah, big old book here, the Bible. Book of Zephaniah in verse 8. So remember, we're talking about a prophet who was speaking to a people during the Babylonian exile, right after Josiah was king, in that era before Babylon took him and everything. So there's a lot going on right now. Zephaniah is telling them about the judgment of God, the coming day of the wrath of the Lord, all of that. So it's good stuff we need to know about. Verse 8, chapter 2, starts out, he's going to go ahead and start the judgment of the nations. Okay. I have heard the taunting of Moab, the revilings of the son of Ammon, with which you have taunted my people, and become arrogant against their territory. Therefore, as I live, declares the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab will be like Sodom, and the sons of Ammon like Gomorrah, a place possessed by nettles and salt pits, a perpetual desolation. The remnant of my people will plunder them, and the remainder of my nation will inherit them. So he's talking about Ammon and Moab, nations that were opposing God in their arrogance. What was once a very fertile land is about to be judged and turned into a wasteland of desolation. Which once was these beautiful cities, magnificence, is going to be overturned. Now, to this day, the inhabitants of the land that are there now could be considered the poorest countries in the world. That's how deep it's gone because of their arrogance, their opposition against God, which makes me worry about any other country, including ours. The littlest, the remnant of what was left in Israel would conquer them. That's what God's saying here now. They're being judged. I like this phrase I found. Psychopathic inhumanity. That's what they're being judged for. Their psychopathic inhumanity. Their pride, their ignorance, their immorality, their complete lack of shame. They're not even afraid anymore. You know, back in the 50s, 60s, whatever, for all time for that matter, since the fall of man, people have sinned. People have done things. But nowadays, they're less and less shamed to hide it. Now we just flaunt our sin of, pulling it on cart rips down parades. We don't even care anymore. There are people that they flaunt their sin, just like they flaunt their wealth. They're perfectly fine with that. But God is not fine with it. And he is coming to judge that eventually. This they will have in return for their pride, because they have taunted and become arrogant against the people of the Lord of hosts. Verse 11, the Lord will be terrifying to them, for he will starve all the gods of the earth, and all the coastlands of the nations will bow down to him, everyone in his own place. You also, O Ethiopians, will be slain by the sword, and he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria. He will make Nineveh a desolation, parched like a wilderness. Flocks will lie down in her midst, all her beasts will range in herds, Both the pelican and the hedgehog will lodge in the tops of her pillars. Birds will sing in the windows. Desolation will be on the threshold, for he has laid bare the cedar work. This is the exalted city, which dwells securely, who says in her heart, I am, and there is no one beside me. A resting place for beasts, everyone who passes by her hiss and wave his hand in contempt. This is the city of Nineveh, which was once a great city. Its walls were said to be about 100 feet tall and 50 feet thick. I mean, you could ride several chariots, along that, think about cars, it's like a 4-lane highway. It's thick. But this is the great city of Nineveh that thought they would never be destroyed. But they were. They did fall. They did crumble. Alexander the Great, just to give you an example, when he was marching through with his armies, they walked right over the city of Nineveh because by that time it had already been rubbled. It had been destroyed and crushed down. It just tells you For one thing, the Word of God is true. His prophecies are true, and his prophecies are there to warn us, to remind us not only of his power and his love and his mercy and his grace, but also that he holds everything in his hands. And right now, that's a promise that I want to hold on to. That with all of the chaos and craziness going on in our world, with all of the sin and all of the other stuff being flaunted around, he is in control. God is on the throne, and we can trust that. We'll jump into chapter 3 next time. But just remember that. He is in control. He is on the throne.